Hello, everyone. I am Matt Williamson, at Williamson NFL. That's how I always start the show, apparently. How are you? I hope everyone is well. Just got word next week I will be down at Steeler minicamp Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, recording a 3-hour show down there. And there won't be a ton to gather from there, but I am interested to see body types of the new guys, Metcalf, the rookies, etc. But today is Twitter Thursday. So you guys, as always, sent a bunch of good questions. We're going to just jump right in. False Positive asks, when are the Steelers trading for a wide receiver, and which one of the Packers will it be? I don't know when. I do think they will. So I think you're both we're on the same page. It's a when, not if. And I think former Packer Alan Lazard could be in the mix. But let's talk about the Packer group. I absolutely think Romeo Doubs would be the leader in the clubhouse. His contract's up after the year. They just drafted a wide receiver in the first round, Golden, who I liked. And he has worked with Rodgers well. They did good things together. I think he's a solid number 2. It would be fine. I mean, I don't think he'd be, whoa, set the world on fire. They traded for Romeo Doubs, but they sure could have used him last year. Quality player, still young. Maybe it'd even extend him. My favorite is Jaden Reed, though. And first off, Christian Watson would be off the table. He has an injury that might even keep him out for the entire year. So he's basically untradeable. I don't think Wicks would be proven enough to be somebody that they would really look to solve the problem. So it basically comes down to Reed and Doubs. I prefer Reed. I'm a big Reed fan. Really, really dynamic playmaker. A little smaller, great with the ball in his hands. He'll get carries here and there as well. Slot, outside. I think his best football is ahead of him. I would give up more for Reed. Now, I don't want to look too much into it, but right after the draft, when they drafted Golden, it was a story that Reed met with the team just to see what his role is there. So does that mean he's not happy? Or, I mean, it said something like, well, we assured him he's still our number 1. Well, he's not really a number 1. And he's drafted a guy in the first round. I don't know if there's bad blood there or not. I tend to think there isn't, but I did think it was noteworthy that Jaden Reed met with the team because after they used the first round pick on a wide receiver. You just don't see that very often. So I thought that was noteworthy. But there's a couple options in Green Bay, and I could definitely see that being a trade partner. Ed Helinsky asked, what Steelers position groups are you liking, and which ones are giving you a hard, you're worrying you here? The ones I'm liking, tight end, solid group. I'm a big Darnell Washington fan. Running back, I don't think it's an elite group, but I'm liking. No question. I'm liking the starting O-line, but the ones that are giving me worry is the backup O-line. Back to the same question. Wide receiver right now is concerning. No question. I'm going to ignore quarterback. Everyone on the planet knows that. Corner is a little concerning. Coincidentally, we had Darius Slay on our Steelers show today, and it was a fun conversation. And he played quite well last year, played well down the stretch, and his career numbers are great. But I wouldn't mind having somebody behind him and Porter that was a little more proven, upside, better outside corner, or, So that one gives me some pause. I'm loving the safety position. I'm liking quite a bit off the ball linebacker and the defensive front as a whole. Outside linebackers, D-line, I'm in love with. And I think Wyatt Black is a big power middle of the field player that kind of completes them in terms of all the roles they're going to play. T-Mac asks, regardless of the quarterback situation, if the Steelers sign an actual wide receiver number 2, would trading a 4th for Jalen Ramsey make that a Super Bowl contender? Now, I don't know if they're going to sign a wide receiver 2. Amari Cooper would be the only one, so you'd probably have to give up a pick for Reed, Doubs, whatever, somebody like that. And there's a lot of other names we could get into. And I've thrown Ramsey out for a couple weeks. It's not a Steelers-like move. But back to that last question, you really would not have any holes whatsoever in your entire defense. And your secondary would go from pretty good to awesome. And now he's not quite the player he used to be. And I think a fourth is about right. And maybe you'd send a fifth for the receiver, a fourth for him. And you can handle the money. It's a big contract, but you can handle it. Just make yourself awesome there. I love it. I'm not even close to going to say predicting they'll do it by any stretch. And that brings you to the question, though. Does that make you a Super Bowl contender? Let's say it's Rodgers, Doubs, and Ramsey all get added to the team. Which, again, probably won't happen, but could. Does that make you a Super Bowl contender? Let's say it makes you a contender to win playoff games, which is a nice first step. Does that mean you can outduel Pat Mahomes or Allen or Lamar in the AFC Championship game? You'd probably be a dog. You'd have to have a great running game. Rodgers would have to look like the guy from 2 or 3 years ago, not the last 2 years and not the New York Jets version. But I'll roll the dice, you know what I mean? And take my chances. I mean, I like the sound of that. I mean, I don't think that it is a little crazy. I don't think it's going to happen. It's an extreme move, but I would think 2 to 3 might. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. With the largest selection of odds from everything from the NBA to NHL playoffs to MLB to UFC and boxing, BetOnline has you covered for all your online wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here. Mr. Dan, with the ever-increasing salary cap and, more importantly, the league desire to expand the regular season, do you see the league moving up from the 43-man roster number? Yes, is the short answer. One of my favorite things that happened with the whole COVID experience is they greatly expanded the practice squad roster, which, by the way, cost the teams like next to nothing. And I asked for that before I'd even heard what COVID was. But I do foresee in the near to very near future an 18-game schedule, 2 bye weeks, probably 1 less preseason game, and rosters expanding by several players to handle that. You know, and it would probably correlate. I don't think it'll happen now, but I think it happens in the next handful of years. We go to an 18-game schedule, and thus the rosters bump up to 55, 56, 58 even, maybe. I mean, bigger rosters aren't much of an expense. And, you know, maybe even have 2 more guys active on game day. You could have a developmental O-lineman, you know, an extra specialist archer type, you know, like that only does a couple things here and there that you could usually have. So I'm all for it, and I think it will be coming. Matt Sable asks, why are you so concerned about how veterans on the team view personnel moves? Do you believe they won't give their best effort if they believe the team they play for are in a rebuild? It's a great question because I do bring it up a lot, especially around the Steelers, because the Steelers kind of look at this thing a little different, that we are not going to ever bottom out, and not on purpose or, you know, tank kind of thing, to get a high pick, to end up in the early stages of the draft. Because I think what a lot of these teams have, and the Steelers certainly aren't alone, is a winning culture. And it's really hard to build that, you know, and then frankly started with Joe Green, you know what I mean? Like generational type thing that leaders hand it down to the next guy. Cam hands it down to TJ Watt, who then hands it down to next year's first round pick quarterback, or however it works. That when you have that, I don't think you can go to guys like Cam Hayward and TJ Watt and say, We think the best move is to play Mason Rudolph all year and see how it goes. And wink, wink, hope we can be okay. I think you lose the culture in the building. Like a team like the Browns would kill for, they should, I'm not sure they recognize it. They should kill for the Pouncey, Cam type dudes that just won't accept that. So it's not really an effort thing. I really don't believe there's much in the football world where guys don't give effort on most plays because the eye in the sky doesn't lie, and next contract, whether it's here or there, influences that stuff. And plus you can get very injured, I don't think that's it, but I think you start to lose the building. A couple more here. My man Michael Odesso asks, how would you rank the GMs in the AFC North, coaching staffs, quarterback rooms? Let's assume Rodgers is a Steeler. Start with quarterbacks. Browns are last. Steelers are third. That part's very easy to me. And I will take Lamar slightly over Burrow, but they're two of the four elite. I mean, there's four quarterbacks I think are elite. Two of them happen to be in this division. I'll take Lamar, though, slightly over Burrow if I have to choose. Coaching staffs. I'm going Ravens 1, and I'm including coordinators in this thought process. Steelers 2, Browns 3, Bengals 4. Just hired a defensive coordinator out of college. I think and this isn't because I'm a Steeler guy. I think Taylor's been an overrated coach pretty much since the day they drafted Burrow. That I just have not been impressed with him overall. But I do think it's interesting that this division has not had a coaching change in quite a while. I mean, it's the only division out there like it. GMs. Again, I'm going to go Ravens. I really think their organization is strong. They use analytics a lot, as do the Browns. They're two of the most analytical teams out there. But they really work the comp pick well. They let the draft fall to them. I'm really impressed with Omar, though. I mean, I think he's made big changes that will start to show up. So I'm going Steelers 2 at GM. I guess Browns 3. But boy, I hated their draft, and I hated the Watson thing. But those guys are all teams are, but a lot of that's ownership too, though. The Bengals to me are last. I mean, they never move around the draft. They're widely known as the team that's hardest to trade with, that they're so bullheaded and overvalue their guys. There's always contract disputes. They haven't drafted well on defense at all. So, I mean, the top two are clear. The bottom two are clear. And there's a big gap between 2 and 3 to me. My man Joey Bag of Donuts asks a great and topical question here. Why didn't the Steelers try to do the tush push? And a lot of you asked, should it have been banned? I would have voted for it to be banned. And I don't care that, if you don't like it, you learn how to stop it. Okay, I get that. And there's some merit to that. I just think as a fan, I hate the play. I just think it's not fun to watch. And I want to be entertained, bottom line, and it's not entertaining to me. Now, we talked with Mike Tomlin at the first owners meeting, and he's on the competition committee, and he mentioned one of the problems we're having with the tush push conversation is there really haven't been many tush pushes called in the history of the league. So we don't have a lot of sample. And unfortunately, what I worry about with it is I think it's a dangerous play, but we don't have any real evidence of quarterbacks getting hurt because, well, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully it's not a dangerous play. I just think when someone's pushing you from behind and you lose control of your body, there's a good chance you get bent backwards or knee could get messed up. I mean, I just think there's a lot of room for injury there. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's not a dangerous play, but I worry this year with it so close to getting banned, and they only needed 2 more votes to get it banned, that some unfortunate quarterback's going to get hurt doing it, and then a year from now it'll be gone. I think that's what will happen. And I think it's just because it's been such a small sample size. We haven't had the injuries that I worry are coming. Why did the Steelers do it? I don't know. They didn't consult me, but you would think Justin Fields behind Frazier with someone like Najee pushing him from the back certainly could have been a very effective short yardage weapon. I didn't give it a whole lot of thought. I mean, I do think it takes more practice time than anyone realizes, and the Eagles have perfected it, even with Kelsey moving on. I'd worried that they would be okay at it, not automatic, when Kelsey retired. Not the case at all. And just from a ball carrier strength standpoint, is Hurts all that much different than Fields was? Not really. Now, a lot of teams don't do it with their quarterback. Like, you'll never see Mahomes do it because I think they're worried, like I am, that it is a dangerous play. Maybe deep down, and the Steelers are one of the teams that voted for it to go away, that they think, man, I don't want to put my quarterback in that situation, especially Wilson, who is the starter and smaller and not as good a runner or strong. But it's a great question. I mean, I think it certainly could have been a weapon with Fields. I don't think you're going to see it with Aaron Rodgers. I don't think you're going to see it with Rudolph. I don't think you're going to see it with Howard, but it could have been useful last year. Yeah, I think that's a good call. All right, everyone, I am out. I got one more podcast for you coming this week, and that's a wrap. All right.